Hi, I'm Carol from Cruise Planners, and we are still getting situated here, but we're going to start our presentation in a few minutes when we get a few more people in, and they get some snacks, and we get ourselves settled.
Love it.
Film it. Oh, here's the other wine over here. Oh. Jack's. Where are the other wine bottles? Just so I know. 3? Okay, so we have some up here. Okay. There's snacks, snacks, snacks. It's a sewing kit. Help yourself. It's a travel sewing kit. They're for you. Help yourselves. I did it for a bridal show. I have a different show. Yeah. Seemed like a good fit.
You are so creative.
Thank you. I don't feel very creative.
You are very creative. Have you guys ever been on a cruise before?
No. Who? Oh.
Yay.
Oh, fun.
Wow. That's
Good.
so exciting.
Yes.
Oh, gosh. That gets me excited because I'm a big.
That's
the best. Honestly, it's like so much fun. Even she can probably even learn to knit. No? Crochet? No? Honestly, there's a great pool area. She'll have a great time. And it's heated.
With me. I'll be there too.
Either way.
Yeah, you guys are going to have a great time. And have you guys cruised before?
Yes.
Oh, fabulous.
Yes.
Ever with Royal? Oh,
No.
that's exciting.
Royal Caribbean.
Royal Caribbean?
Oh, actually, I was with Royal Caribbean.
Oh,
Yeah.
great.
Oh, wait, no. Sorry. It's another one that we're taking.
I totally forgot my my cruise line. It's in the car. Oh well.
Do you want me to get it
No.
for you?
It's
Okay.
fine. That's
You
fine.
can take that home.
Oh, thank you. That's awesome. Yeah, I have a big cruise planner one, and I threw it in the car, and then I forgot it.
And I do have my
And I left my tablecloth.
It's in my car.
I know. I think we're okay.
I know.
Yeah, this is fine. Are we ready? All right, let's do this.
Yay!
Yay! This is gonna be great.
You just tell me
Okay.
where to stand. I'll stand right
You
off to
can
the
stand
side.
wherever you like to. That's fine.
Do you want me to be the clicker?
That would be awesome.
Yeah?
Thank you. You can click. Okay. Yeah, but be careful of that. All right. So we're going to go ahead and begin. I'd like to do introductions first. My name is Carol Pratt. I am with Cruise Planners. I own my own business. We are a franchised organization. We have over 2,000 franchises. And because there are so many of us, we have some great relationships with not just the cruise lines, but also land. No offense, but it kind of holds us back a little bit because we're called Cruise Planners, and I get the, do you do land too? And I can assure you in the last 2 years, the bulk of our business has been land, but is really picking back up with cruising. And in fact, I just got off of the Harmony of the Seas yesterday morning after 7 amazing days in the Caribbean. And I did not get as much sun as I was hoping to, but amazing trip. So I'm all pumped up of Royal Caribbean right now. So this is happening at a great time. I'm very happy to have Amy Bonheim here with me. Amy is my local representative, my regional representative with Royal Caribbean. And she's been working, her team's been working with me on this particular cruise now for 2.5 years.
But this time we're going.
This time we're going, exactly. And then, of course, I think many of you know Jax. Some of you may not. Yes. We have Jax Lewis here, who is going to be your knitting instructor, because I have half of a scarf that I've had for 5 years, and that is the extent of my knitting experience. So I will be with your mom at the pool or in the lounges or in other of the activities that we're going to go over here today, and I'm going to leave the knitting program to Jax. So, yes, okay. So what we're going to do is, I think Amy and I are going to start the presentation. We're going to talk about Royal Caribbean. We're going to talk about the Enchantment of the Seas. We're going to talk about the itinerary. What you can expect with travel. We are going to talk a little bit about COVID because it's the elephant in the room, especially if you haven't traveled yet. I want to talk to you about what to expect with all of that, but I will also warn you that whatever I tell you today could be completely wrong tomorrow, and that's part of the way it is. The great news is that it's been getting better and better. The news has just been increasingly getting better. The cruise lines are getting better equipped for handling any kind of problems that do pop up. I just got off of a ship with 3,800 people. Didn't see anybody with the dreaded quarantine tape or anything like that on their rooms. And there are very good protocols in place. So we'll talk about that a little bit too. Once we get done with that, I'm going to hand over to Jax, and she's going to tell you all about the knitting program that's going to go on. Not knitting, I'm sorry, stitch program, because we've added a little bit of crochet into the mix too, I think. Right. So, okay, great. So finally we're here. What's the cruise? What should I expect and what's available on the ship? Most of you probably know this is an 8-night itinerary sailing out of Baltimore on the Enchantment of the Seas. It departs on August 25th of this year, returning on September 2nd as well. Let's go ahead. We can move on. No, I think I just blew through that actually without realizing it, so we're good. This cruise, the port stops feature Boston, Portland, Maine, Bar Harbor, Maine, and St. John, New Brunswick. And a little funny story about that, on cruise planners, we had that listed as St. John, S-T, John, which is apparently in Newfoundland, and then there's St. John, spelled out, which is New Brunswick, and we had Canadian customers contacting us to let us know that that was just completely incorrect. Fortunately, my IT department was able to correct that within about an hour once I let them know what was going on. I'm like, we need to fix it because the Canadians are mad, and these days you don't make Canadians mad. So we got that taken care of real fast. But it also features 3 days at sea, which will be great for the knitting program as well. Okay.
I might be over-clicking here.
You should be able to just hit the return button. Ah, there we go. Okay. So what are the benefits of booking into this group? The way this works is you book the cruise, and then you book the knitting program, and the combination of the two give you a lot of benefits. Whether you knit or not, you will be part of our cruise group. That gives you access to a lot of the social activities that we're going to be doing on the ship. We've got a couple of, I'll call them semi-private cocktail hours, because they're not in a private room, but they are cocktail hours designed just for us, with beer and wine made available to you, whether you have the beverage package or not. It'll also give you access to the knitting lounge for the snacks. So we have, so I'll be there occasionally. She's not going to be allowed to kick me out, but we'll have what we're calling tea time. And I'm going to look at the schedule. Sometimes it might be more of, breakfast pastries, but most of the time it'll probably be cookies and coffee and that kind of thing in the afternoon that'll be available for you as well, so that you can just come in, hang out in the lounge, whether there's anything scheduled formally or not for class programs, and just partake of the group benefits there. Okay? All right, what about COVID? The only cruisers on Royal Caribbean who do not have to be vaccinated right now are under 5 years old. So that rules everybody out here in terms of being able to get an exception. No offense, but I think everybody looks like you're over 5. So being fully vaccinated is a requirement. At the moment, that means either the 1 shot of J&J or the 2 shots of Pfizer and Moderna. It does not include boosters at this particular time, but if you're boosted, that's great, no problem. At the moment, Royal Caribbean also requires that all passengers submit or take a COVID test up to 2 days prior to your sailing date. It doesn't have to be a PCR test, it can be an antigen test. It can be an antigen test that you do in your home as long as it's proctored. So you can't do the free government ones that they've sent you that you just do and nobody knows about, but you can do a home test where you get online and it's proctored through a health provider so that you get an official I'm negative form. That negative form has a QR code on it. You just print that or keep it on your phone and present it when you check in, and then you're good to go. So just for the sake of people who are concerned as well about being around unvaccinated kids, those unvaccinated kids have to take a PCR test up to 72 hours. So we're 72 hours prior to cruising.
48 hours.
40.
Yeah.
And they have to test at the port.
Yeah.
And they have to test before they get off the ship. So they're getting tested. And they have to wear masks on board in the kids club programs, not on the deck. So the rest of us, at the moment, it's mask optional. So I saw it all. 3,800 people. I saw some people wearing masks. I saw some people not wearing masks. I saw some people wearing masks and gloves. I saw some people wearing very little, including not masks. So I saw some people wearing very little with a mask, which is even more funny. It's like, oh, okay. So it's very much do it your way. There is a buffet that is open, but you do not serve your own food. They serve you. So again, that's how it is today. Most everybody seemed to roll with that. Not a problem. The crew has adapted. They were amazing about it. If you want more on your plate, they'll give you more. So not a big issue. And it wasn't a crowded feeling, honestly, even in that environment. And that's probably about the place I ran into the most people. I don't know what your experience. Yeah.
Well, so I just sailed on this ship in December, and it was just the best cruise, literally, that I've ever been on. Honestly, I'm not saying that. I go on a million cruises. I've worked for the company. I travel a lot. It was literally the best crew I've ever had on any ship. I don't know if they can hear me, so I might come closer.
Oh, come stand next to my microphone.
Yeah. But it was literally the best crew I've ever worked with. They didn't know I worked for the company, just as an example, and they went above and beyond. Like, the dining team even brought a kettle of tea to my room because they saw I was taking it with me every night, and they even offered to bring it to me, which they're not supposed to do. They just went out of their way to just show kindness, and it's just one very small example of how amazing it was. So know that you will be very much taken care of on the ship. And honestly, the dining areas are very clean. I mean, it wasn't even heavy traffic, and it was a full ship. I mean, for the most part, it was almost full. But it wasn't heavy traffic. It was really easy to be seated. It was easy to find a place. The food was phenomenal. The best part is the lobster night. So
Yeah.
They don't say this on the menu, but you can order more than one lobster that night.
Keep that in mind.
steak.
Yeah, keep that in mind. Exactly.
It was great.
Yes. And I'll add one more note about the crew. The last 2 years have been really hard on the crew. They got shut down. I mean, it was bad for all of us. They got shut down. They floated around for a couple months. They finally got taken home. They pulled people together from different countries on different ships, and those ships either took them home or took them to a place where they were chartered home. Royal is still in the process of ramping back up. I think all but 2 ships have sailed. They're still at about 80-90% capacity for crew, and they're still bringing them back. And they're happy to be back to work, and it shows. It really does. They're thrilled to be back at sea and back with guests. So I think we're in great hands. And I'll echo, I've been on a lot of different cruise lines, and the food really pleasantly surprised me. I mean, it was much better than I remembered even before. It was pretty good. So anyhow, so that's the COVID questions. Before we move on, I just want to ask, does anybody have any questions about COVID protocols? Just because sometimes people hold back on that. And okay, great. All right.
Can I ask one question?
Yes.
Is there a formal night?
There are formal nights. You'll see people dressing up formal. You'll see people wearing, especially women, or men, you'll see some coats and ties. You'll see collared shirts. Women, I saw some formal dresses. I also saw some nice capris and, some nice wedge shoes and a sparkly top.
Yeah, it's all optional.
Yes, it's all optional. There are no shorts in the main dining rooms or the specialty restaurants on any night. You can wear shorts in the Windjammer, but for the most part, it's pants, capris, dresses, that kind of thing in the dining rooms, and then people just kind of step it up a notch sometimes on formal night. Yes.
And is only one formal night?
For an 8-night cruise, I think there's 2. Yeah. We had 2 on a 7 night, so I'm sure for 8 night it's probably 2. Yeah.
How do they notify? How will we know what night's a formal night?
Go ahead, take this.
So the best way is to have the app downloaded on your phone. And I say this not only because you can see the menu every night, so you can pick and choose which day you want to go to the dining room, but it also tells you which night's formal night. They tell you the morning of, they tell you the night before, but it's also on the app.
Right. Every night you'll have a cruise compass by paper left in your stateroom. Everything on the compass, it's basically a little newsletter for the day. It gives all of the activities, all of the dining. It gives the times all of the restaurants are open, the times the pools are open. It will say which port we're in, what time to be back on the ship. Little tip, I always take the compass with me when I get off the ship because in the bottom corner it lists who the port agent is with their phone number. So if you get back to the port and you see the ship off in the horizon, you can call the port agent and say, hey, I got a problem here, and they'll help take care of you. That's not going to happen with any of you, and I'll tell you why. So that compass, I just fold that up and I put it in my pocket. But everything is on the app as well for your daily plan of what's available.
I put the dining room, and that's, I guess, where we'll eat. Do we have to let them know what we're eating in the dining room, or?
Can I hold those questions just for a little bit? Okay. We'll get to a dining section, and I'll talk a little bit about how all of that works. So this has been up for a little while, but I don't know if you've had a chance to look at it. I love this. It made me laugh. So this was me about a year ago, and now I feel much better about myself, and I'm not staring at the terror on my couch. So let's go. We'll go ahead and go. Oh.
Sorry, I believe we both clicked it.
Oh, did we? Okay, I'm going to let Amy talk a little bit about the beautiful Enchantment of the Seas out of Baltimore.
Do you want me to take that?
Sure. Oops, I just pushed the button.
Nope, still blinking. We're good. So this is the beautiful Enchantment of the Seas. A fun fact about her, do you see these little wings right here? So we actually cut the ship right in half and added a whole middle section, and so it's just a beautiful area to walk on upstairs. So there's a great area to go on walks every morning, see the sunrise out in the ocean. It's just absolutely beautiful. She was built in the class was built between 1996 and 1998, and they've been renovated since then, as you know, because we cut her in half. And the itinerary is just absolutely beautiful. The fact that you can go right out of Baltimore, be able to literally drive right off of the highway into the port. Parking is so easy. It's I don't know if you were going to talk about this, but I'm talking about it now. But it's $15 per day. It's all credit card, and it's so easy. I mean, you literally drive through. It's almost literally like a drive-through for fast food. Like you just drive in, you drop off bags, and you park really easy, and you can get to the ship within 30 minutes. You'll be on board. In our itinerary, we have, as Carol had mentioned, 3 different cruise days. So we're going to be cruising on day 1, and then we'll be in Boston, Portland, Bar Harbor, St. John, 2 cruising days, and then back to Baltimore. So it's so tough with these itineraries because it's like you really just don't. It's like, how can we make this like a 13-night cruise? Because 8 nights is just never enough to go see everything. But it's just a really, really wonderful itinerary. Excuse me. And Enchantment of the Sea. So this is our ship. We have so many amazing things. This right here is our 9-story Centrum. It's a beautiful center area that's part of the ship, and it's right when you board, you enter through the centrum. There's it's glass, so you can see everything going on downstairs, and it's so fun. They often have a pianist. There's a bar right there, and it's called the R Bar. So there's oftentimes people lounging, and it's a great meeting place because it's right in the center of the ship. So that is our centrum. There's a lot of other things on board. Of course, it might be a little chilly for rock climbing, but it's going to be open. So just know there's rock climbing available. There's a gym. There's a spa. A fun little tip for you on Enchantment of the Sea. There's actually a quiet room in the spa, and it faces the aft of the ship. And it's full glass, and it's really a quiet room, and they use it as a waiting room, but it's really open to everybody. So if you're really looking for a quiet little place that's not the solarium, it's a great place to kind of hide away. We have outdoor movie screens on the pool deck. The solarium that I was talking about, that's our adult-only area. Adults on Royal Caribbean is technically 16 and up for the solarium. I will tell you, I've never seen a 16-year-old in the solarium before. And if they have been, they're playing board games or something. It's not like a very loud area. Now, a fun thing about the solarium is that, and let me see if I actually have a picture. I think it's on the next slide. So this is the solarium. It's actually covered, and it's completely heated. So when you're traveling up north, you don't have to worry. Still pack a bathing suit because there's a lot to do there. Another fun fact about it is that there's the Park Cafe. It's one of our dining venues, completely included in the cruise fare. And they have stone-made pizza. It's the best pizza you will ever have. They have roast beef sandwiches, amazing roast beef sandwiches. And they also have a salad bar, a lot of some grab and go, but it's a really nice place to just relax and enjoy the peace and quiet of the ship. So that is the solarium. I think Carol said earlier that's one of her favorite places on board. And it's mine too. I drop my kids off at the Adventure Ocean, and then I spend the rest of my time at the solarium. For any of you who have friends and family who might have children, we have a wonderful children's program on board. You can start cruising at age 6 months, so just keep that in mind. We have a variety of pools and whirlpools, which in August you would be using them. So definitely pack a suit. There's 2 different main pools, and then there's a variety of whirlpools throughout the entire ship. So keep that in mind. The casino is a great place to be for those who like to gamble. It is a vaccinated-only area. Just so you guys know, we do allow smoking. Only in 2 places on the entire ship, and that's one in the casino, and then we have a part of the area of the pool deck is for smoking. So if that's not something you're interested in, I would advise going in the morning. But honestly, it's not that bad. It's not. I'm not a smoker, and it's never something that's given me a headache when I've been on the ships. It's nothing like that because they have such great ventilation systems, especially since we've renovated all of our ventilation systems within the past 2 years. So that's the casino. As I mentioned, we have our outdoor movie screen, our spa and fitness center. There's literally so much to do. So those 3 cruising days are going to go by so fast. And the cruise compass that Carol had discussed, it actually has a whole list of activities every single day. So if you wanted to go to bingo, if you want to go to trivia, if you wanted to go to a card making or a scrapbook making, whatever it is that you want to do, there is a variety. They even have dance classes in the centrum during the day, and it's like a 30-minute let's learn to salsa together. It's so much fun. And I use the app now, but before the app came out, I would bring a highlighter and I would literally pack it every cruise and highlight everything I wanted to do that day. Even if I didn't get to all of them, I knew this time when I wanted to go to the Crown Lounge or hear and experience something.
Before you go.
Yep.
See this real quick. I'll highlight the conference center here. So the conference center is what we have exclusive use of for this cruise. One upside, one downside. The ship we were going to be on before had a conference room where we could have configurable tables. Unfortunately, this is the configuration for the conference room. So we will have rows. However, there's nothing that says that you can't turn those chairs around, create your own spaces and your own groups in order to, have your own friends that you want to sit with, for purposes. We're not going to say you must sit in this configuration and stand, sit straight forward. Or I don't think that's the plan anyway. So just so you know. No, I didn't think so. Oh,
and I talked about this, but our beautiful pools, and it's going to be August. It's going to be really beautiful weather. And entertainment and nightlife. Would you like me to start? So there is so much to do. So as I mentioned, the R bar that's right in the centrum. Like I said, that's the one like right in the middle, center of the ship. Great meeting place. I also think it's fun watching people go up and down the elevators and waving, and it's like kind of like a little game. Honestly, on a cruise ship, part of the cruise personality, for those of you who have never cruised, it's so much getting to know the people that you're sailing with. And it's just part of the culture, and you don't have to meet everyone. You don't have to meet anyone at all if you don't want to, but part of it is just that you do see the same people at dinner every night and things like that. So it is a community. Anyways, we also have our original productions. So we have a variety of shows throughout the 8 nights. There will be 2, most likely, that will be our original productions. From what I remember of them, one of them was like music and dancing through the years of movies. So that's just an example of the type of show that will be, but it'll be live dancers and singers and performers going through music through the ages. So like one of them was like, I don't mean to say this right after the Oscars, but like the theme song to Men in Black, just as an example. That was the only one that came to my head, so. But that's just an example. Got to keep up with the times, right? So, and that will all be in the main theater. But on your cruise compass, we also will tell you we have, the captain will be there on this night to provide a hello to all of the officers on board that are driving the ship. So that's like an example of things that they'll do. There's comedians, and to be honest, Royal Caribbean does have a variety of comedians. When I sailed on Enchantment this past December, he was very family-friendly humor, which personally I liked a lot, but we do sometimes have more adult humor. An example of one of the jokes he had that just stuck with me was, for those of you who never cruised, the last night you can put your bags out of your stateroom because they'll take it to the port and you can kind of pick it up like at the airport, And he said, "Oh, you forgot that one souvenir at St. Martin. Don't worry, you can have endless shopping on your last night of the cruise." And so that's just an example of some of the fun cruise humor that they have. Again, we have the casino. They do have dancing at night for those of you who like to dance. There's karaoke for those who like to sing. There's also a lounge if you want to just watch the people sing. But there's so much to do. With the Viking Crown Lounge, which is a lounge that's above, like it's the top deck of the ship. It is beautiful. I mean, the windows here don't do it justice. It's a nice, peaceful area to be at during the day. And in the evening, it's a little bit of a party area. So for those of you who like to put those dancing shoes on, there's a lot to do for you.
Excuse me, Amy.
Yes.
I know we did dining earlier, but one question that came in was, is there a chef table option on the cruise?
We have a dining section coming up.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Sorry.
Yeah, we got diverted a little bit. I'm sorry about that, but we'll talk about that.
How many people on that ship?
2,200 max, 999 crew max. Yeah.
So did you want to? I'm going to pass the torch.
Okay. So I sort of put a list of everything that we just talked about together, just so you can see. I know everybody wants to come to knit, however, this is what you can do on your off time. So you will not be bored at all. Let's see, there was something else. Oh, and of course, I expect to see everybody on the bungee trampolines at some point in time. So. Okay, so we're going to get through the ports here a little bit fairly quickly. St. John, that's S-A-I-N-T, John, And really what I wanted to do here, what we're going to talk about are the typical ship excursions, the draws of these ports. Jax is going to talk about the yarn crawls and what we're offering there. So this is not intended to take away from that, but if you don't want to participate in that, or if you want to do the yarn crawls in the morning by yourself and then find an excursion in the afternoon, you can do that, or vice versa. So all of this will be available. The big draw in St. John is the Bay of Fundy, of course, with the amazing tides. Let me talk about excursions. I'm usually a big proponent of private excursions on ships. Sorry. A lot of people like them just because they tend to be smaller groups than the cruise ship offerings. And most of them guarantee getting back to the ship on time and things like that. However, due to COVID right now, when the cruise lines got back in the water, the only way really to do it was because most of the ports were requiring what they were calling bubble excursions. And it really was, you're going to be on the ship excursion, so we're going to know who's getting off in our town and who's getting back on. That has kind of gone away in a lot of places. However, it still pops up on occasion. Canada has just reopened to tourists. They just reopened in November. The first ships are going to be sailing there next month, I think, in April. And so my recommendation is just stick with the ship excursions. Make it easy. The odds are, I would hate for anybody to book a private excursion and then find out that you can't do it. So that is one stipulation that I'll say about the yarn crawls as well. However, the good news is that 3 of these 4 ports are in the U.S. The U.S. never implemented anything like that. So you're getting off in your own country, you're getting back on your own country, so it's not a problem. So just be aware of that when you're looking at the excursions, and I would recommend just that you book ship excursions. So Royal Caribbean does offer a great tour of St. Martin and the Bay of Fundy Express, so recommend that when you book, you take a look at that. All of the excursions will be available to you through the Royal Caribbean app or through the website, and you can book those directly yourself.
So there's several excursions at each port?
At each port, yes, many. Yes, ma'am.
Do you book those excursions ahead of time, or can you book them on the boat?
You can do both. If there's one you really want, however, I recommend booking it ahead of time. You can cancel it for a refund, you can change it. I think you can change it on the ship up to like 48 hours before the excursion as well.
And I definitely recommend, to echo that, I recommend if there's something you want to book it sooner than later. The closer you get, the more that's going to be sold out.
Right.
And then one thing to note is that if there is something that's sold out and it's like really on your to-do list, there are oftentimes X amount of spots available upon boarding day.
Yeah.
So if that's if you know you want it and you miss the opportunity pre-cruise, there's the first thing you do when you board should be going to the shore excursion deck. Okay.
Sometimes they add spaces.
And then another thing to know is that we oftentimes have pre-cruise planner promotions. Those will literally be the best pricing that you will ever get for shore excursions, for beverage packages, for internet, whatever you want to buy pre-cruise. It will be the best prices during those pre-cruise promotions. Also, even if you don't book during a pre-cruise promotion, anytime you book pre-cruise, it's going to be a better price.
It's going to be better.
Yeah.
And you get that through you?
No, you can do that directly yourself. If I'm aware of a sale, I will let you know because I'll get a notice. But you can do that straight through the website through your app as well. My guess is Memorial Day, 4th of July. Those are probably going to be the 2 big opportunities to book your excursions and your beverage packages. Yes.
And every promotion, different excursions will be on sale. So it would be beneficial if you do get a notice from Carol or you happen to see that there's a pre-cruise promotion to just go ahead and take a look at it because it changes every time about